While the Ark of the Covenant was in the hands of the Philistines, it caused them nothing but disaster. So after 7 months they returned it to the Israelites. When next the Philistines attacked, it was the Israelites who were victorious, and the Philistines did not come into the territory of Israel again. The hand of the Lord was against the Philistines all the days of Samuel. When Samuel grew old, he appointed his sons as Israel's leaders. But his sons did not follow his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice. So all the elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah. They said to him, "You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, just like all the other nations have." Samuel prayed to the Lord. The Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected. They have rejected me as their king, just as they have done from the day I brought them up out of Egypt." Samuel warned his people, "A king will take your sons and make them serve with his chariots. Others he will assign to plough his ground and reap his harvest, and still others to make weapons of war. He will take your daughters to slave for him. He will take 1/10 of your grain, 1/10 of your vintage, 1/10 of your flocks, and you yourselves will become his slaves. Is that what you want?" The people refused to listen to Samuel. "No," they said, "we want a king over us. Then we shall be like all the other nations, with a king to lead us and to go out before us and fight our battles." And a king they had. Again Samuel cried out to the Lord for guidance. The Lord replied, "About this time tomorrow I will send you a man from the land of Benjamin. His name is Saul. Anoint him ruler over my people Israel. He will deliver them from the hand of the Philistines." Samuel summoned Saul. He took a flask of olive oil and poured it on Saul's head and kissed him, saying, "The Lord has anointed you ruler over his inheritance." Samuel summoned all the people. He introduced Saul as their king. The people shouted, "Long live the king!" Samuel explained to the people the rights and duties of kingship. Then he dismissed them to their own homes. Saul went home too, but the people of his own tribe despised him. He was just one of them. Why should they honor him? Now for the New Testament. After Lazarus had been raised from the dead, the chief priests and the Pharisees called together the Sanhedrin, their religious council. "What are we going to do?" they said. "This man is performing many miracles. If we allow him to go on in this way, everyone will believe in him. Better that one man should die for the people than that the whole nation should perish." From that day they resolved that they should kill him. So Jesus was no longer able to walk openly among the Jews. However, the feast of the Passover was near, and many went up to Jerusalem from the surrounding country. They were looking for Jesus. "What do you think? Will he come to the feast?" The chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was, they should report it in order that they could arrest him. Nevertheless, 6 days before the Passover, Jesus did come to Bethany. They made him a dinner there. Martha was serving, and Lazarus was one of the ones reclining at table with him. Then Mary took a bottle of very expensive perfume. As Jesus reclined at dinner, she anointed his feet. Then she wiped his feet with her hair. The whole house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, the disciple who was going to betray him, said, "Why was this ointment not sold and given to the poor?" He was not really concerned about the poor. He was a thief, and he used to steal from the money box. Jesus said, "Let her alone. Let her keep it for the day of my burial. You have the poor with you always, but you will not always have me." Indeed, they would not have Jesus with them for much longer. Things were coming to a crisis. Judas went to the chief priests and the officers of the temple guard and discussed with them how he might betray Jesus. They were delighted and agreed to give him money, 30 pieces of silver. Now Judas had to watch for an opportunity to betray Jesus to them, preferably when there was no crowd present. But much was to happen first. Questions. Question 1. Why was it important that the Israelites should get the Ark of the Covenant back? Question 2. While the high priests, or judges, led the Israelites, their real king was the Lord himself. What difference do you think there was when they had a king just like every other people? Question 3. Why do you think Mary poured all that expensive perfume over Jesus' feet? Question 4. At what service were you anointed with perfumed oil? Practical. In church, the perfumed oil is called chrism, and it is consecrated by the patriarchs, the leading bishops of the church. Find out what the significance of chrismation is.